October 1st, 1993.
An armored truck sat outside the Circus casino in Las Vegas like it had 100 times before. Two guards stepped inside the building with bags of cash for routine drop-off. They expected their rookie driver to wait exactly 20 minutes, but when they walked back out, the truck was gone. The driver was gone, and so were $3 million. No gunfire, no chase, no witnesses, just gone. Over the next few hours, the FBI realized something chilling. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment robbery. It was clean, controlled, almost surgical. And at the center of it was 21-year-old Heather Tallchief, a young woman with no criminal record, no history of violence, and no warning signs. What no one knew at the time was that Heather's partner in the heist was a man whose past was far darker than anyone suspected. A convicted murderer who had already attempted this exact crime decades earlier. And together, they would pull off the most flawless armored truck escape Las Vegas had ever seen. Then, vanish for a decade. A life running on empty. Before Heather became America's most wanted woman, she was just another young adult trying to escape a difficult life. She grew up in Buffalo, New York, bouncing in and out of low-paying jobs, mostly caregiving or nursing assistant positions. She changed apartments, changed boyfriends, changed cities. Nothing stuck. By her early 20s, her life felt like one long restart button. She saved a few $100s, stuffed some clothes into a duffel bag, and took a bus to San Francisco. No plan, no friends. Just the hope that things would be different. They weren't. At least not until she met him. The man who changed everything. It was March of 1993 when Heather walked into a bar in San Francisco's Tenderloin district. That's where she met Roberto Solis, a man almost 3 decades older than her. He was charismatic, intense, strangely philosophical. He talked about meditation, energy, destiny, and manifesting wealth. He made her feel seen, something she hadn't felt in years. But the man enchanting her over dim bar lights had a past soaked in blood. Back in 1969, Roberto shot and killed a security guard during an armored car robbery. He spent 15 years in Folsom Prison, years spent reading occult books, experimenting with control techniques and planning. He didn't tell Heather any of this. By the time she started learning pieces of the truth, she was already deeply attached. Roberto studied her insecurities the way a chess master studies his opening moves. Their relationship became a mix of affection, manipulation, and psychological pressure. Soon, she was living in his apartment, following his lead, believing his ideas about fate and energy. In July, he told her, "We're moving to Las Vegas. It's time for a new beginning." Heather didn't question it. She packed her bags. The perfect position. When the couple arrived in Vegas, Roberto gave Heather an instruction that changed everything. Apply for a job at Loomis. She had a clean background, no red flags. They hired her within weeks. While she learned the armored routes and timing, Roberto trained her at home, his version of training. Guided trances, mental rehearsals, repetition until the route to Circus was burned into her mind. He told her they were destined to be rich. Heather told herself she didn't have a choice. Hidden inside storage units and behind fake names, Roberto prepared disguises, IDs, and a getaway van. Heather kept waiting for him to call it off. He never did. The Heist, October 1st, 1993. Heather dressed in her Loomis uniform and left for work before sunrise. Sitting behind the wheel of the armored truck, she tried to steady her breathing. Her partners, Mike and Tony, had no idea the quiet rookie beside them was about to rewrite Vegas history. At 7:52 a.m., they pulled up behind Circus. The guards grabbed 2 bags of cash and walked inside. Heather was alone, the engine idling, her heart splitting open. After a tense 90 seconds, she shifted into drive. No screech, no panic. Just a slow, steady roll into traffic. She kept the truck moving at the speed limit, blending into the morning commute without a single startled glance from passers-by. Behind her, Circus disappeared into the distance. Minutes later, she pulled into a storage facility. Roberto was already inside waiting. Together, they transferred millions in cash into a brown Dodge van. The entire switch took under 5 minutes. By the time Loomis realized the truck was missing, Heather and Roberto were already racing toward California. By evening, they were in Phoenix. By the next day, in Texas. Within a week, they were on a plane under new identities, streaking across the Atlantic. The FBI lost them completely. A fugitive life. Amsterdam was supposed to be their fresh start. Instead, it became the beginning of Heather's realization that she wasn't Roberto's partner, just a tool. He hid the money from her. He disappeared for days at a time. He entertained other women. He controlled her, now without needing rituals or promises. Then Heather discovered she was pregnant. Roberto reacted with indifference, then left again, without discussing their future. During one of his disappearances, Heather packed a small bag of cash, just a few thousand, and walked away. She didn't know where she was going, just that she had to get away from him. In November 1994, in a small European apartment, she gave birth to her son Dylan. And for the next 11 years, Heather lived a shadow life, moving across Europe, working under fake names, surviving in cash-only jobs, raising her son while constantly looking over her shoulder. She taught Dylan to stay quiet, to avoid questions, to leave places quickly when she said so. But the guilt ate at her. She wasn't giving her son safety. She was giving him fear. The return. After more than a decade in hiding, Heather realized she couldn't keep running. Dylan was getting older. He deserved a real identity, a real home, a real life, and she could never give him that as a fugitive. So, on September 15th, 2005, Heather Tallchief walked into a Las Vegas federal courthouse, approached the front desk, and said the words no one expected to hear. "My name is Heather Tallchief. I'm here to turn myself in." Agents surrounded her. Reporters rushed the building. After 12 years, the ghost of the Vegas heist suddenly had a face again. Heather cooperated fully. She explained the manipulation. She admitted her role. She asked for a chance to rebuild her son's life. Prosecutors wanted the maximum. Her lawyers argued she had been controlled, abused psychologically, and coerced by a man twice her age. Ultimately, Heather pleaded guilty. She was sentenced to 63 months in federal prison, less time than she had spent on the run. A new beginning. To this day, more than $3 million remains missing. The story of Heather Tallchief isn't just a heist story. It's a story about manipulation, control, escape, motherhood, and the cost of running from your past. She pulled off one of the cleanest robberies in American history, but paid for it with 12 years of fear and separation. If you enjoy deep dive crime documentaries like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. There are more unbelievable true stories coming your way. Stories that prove real life can be stranger, darker, and more shocking than fiction.